No matter what kind of project you have around the shop, if you're looking for some tips and some help, it's time for Sam's Garage, presented by ARP, with Master Mechanic Sam the Molo.
All right, Dan. Got it all set up. I told you I would. Isn't that great?
Wow, look at that.
Well,
That
way
is sweet.
we can paint in here and not mess up my shop.
Very nice.
Hey, welcome to Sam's Garage. Well, just like we talked about last week, Dan came back to help me. We're going to do some painting. I put my respirator together.
Great.
Proud of me, I did it right.
Yeah, it looks correct.
So what do we have here?
Yeah, so what I sent you is a couple of spray guns and our disposable paint cup system called PPS. Basically what you're holding in your hand is our AccuSpray spray gun. That has been out for about the last 5 years. We've now kind of reintroduced it or relaunched it as the AccuSpray 1 because it's one solution for all your painting needs. What you've got on there and all these different colored tips up here, everything from 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.8, and 2.0 millimeter tips.
Wow.
So you can spray all your top coats, all your undercoats, pretty much any combination of automotive paint that you want.
This is a great way to go. You know, you're going to buy a spray gun. You're going to paint one car, maybe two. You're not going to spend $300 or $400 for a base gun or a primer gun and then buy a clear gun. With this AccuSpray gun, and I've used this is pretty good. I've done a lot of priming with these guns. You get all the nozzles. You can spray the base. You can spray primer, clear coat, even the polyesters and so on.
Yep.
So
Sprayable polyester, you got it.
it comes with a regulator, everything you need. You got the cup with the liners.
Yep, so this is our more industrial packaging, more for a body shop application.
Right.
Just comes with the gun, regulator, and tips. This is more of a retail packaging, exact same gun, same tip selection, but this one comes with the hard cup and 4 lids and liners just to kind of get you going, enough for a paint job.
And those liners will definitely save you a lot of material. Save the cleanup. Get rid of the liner, pop the nozzle off, a little solvent through there, and the gun's clean. You don't need to put it in the gun bath and everything. Let me ask you a question. These are disposable, but how long will one of these tips last?
About 10 to 15 uses, so you can wash it 10 to 15 times.
And they're under $5.
Yep, about $5. Then to replace it, you simply squeeze and it pops right off and you can throw on a new one. So whether you're just changing sizes or putting on a replacement nozzle, it's just as easy as that.
Well, I'm going to see how good you are. Let's mix up some paint. I've got a radiator core support from my 38 GMC sitting on the horse, sanded, primed, wiped down. All we're going to do is tack rag it and shoot it.
Great.
This is some of Sam's amateur bodywork. This was pretty well wrinkled up.
It looks great.
Yeah, I've got it pretty well ready. The fenders go here, of course, and headlights mount there. Now this thing's been water sanded and primed several times. I put a lot of effort into it. Should look pretty good in paint. We blew it off. Now the last thing is, of course, a tack rag.
You bet.
Tell us the reason really that you use a tack rag most of the time.
Well, tack rags, obviously you can have some loose airborne particles that just float around inside your new spray booth here, even though it is new. Just wiping it down with a tack rag just to make certain that it's 100% dust-free on the surface before you spray is always a good thing.
Okay, well, I've got a respirator, but I don't have a paint suit. He's going to tack this thing down. We got our exhaust system on with our filter, getting rid of the exhaust. I'm going to go ahead and zip up the other door and feel free to spray away. All right, Dan's using the 1.3 millimeter nozzle. That's great for the base coat. And the base coat we're using is a Dove Gray. You're going to spray that on, and what you do with base coat is you just put enough on to cover. Okay, the clear coat is what's going to give you your gloss. But anyway, he's going to spray it inside and out. We'll let it flash off, and then it'll be time for a second coat. And of course, we're using filtered air that's regulated, and that's what you want to have, nice clean air. You'll get a good finish. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, got a lot more coming in the spray booth here at Sam's Garage.
Sam's Garage, presented by ARP, is brought to you by 3M. For more information on 3M products, go to 3mcollision.com. Hypertech, the leader in high-performance engine tuning products. LMC Truck, restore, maintain, customize. Parts and accessories for Chevy, GMC, Ford, and Dodge trucks and SUVs. By ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
All right, welcome back to Sam's Garage. Well, look at the job Dan's done. This thing is so pretty. You think you're gonna put another coat on?
Yeah, I think so. One more coat just to make certain. I think it's covered now, but you never know about an edge or a corner, so it's always good to do one last insurance coat.
And we could use some better lighting in here, but when you go inside the spray booth, you need an explosion-proof light.
Yeah.
You know, it's looking pretty good. What do you think of the color?
Yeah, I think the color's cool. It's got a different look depending on the angle.
I was in Minnesota with some friends having dinner. The guy's a paint and body guy. He showed up with this little Dodge pickup truck. He had just finished. My buddy Craig said, let's go out and look at this thing. I went out and just dusk, the right lights. It was this color. I fell in love with it. It looked good on that truck. I thought it looked good in this truck. So again, this is a old Ford color called Dove Gray. It's a non-metallic. It's gonna look real good. Now this is just the base. And in base, being this light gray, almost looks like primer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so he's gonna put another coat on. We'll let that flash off. Then we'll clean the gun and we'll be able to start shooting clear. You know, when you're shooting base coat on, again, you want to make sure everything's covered. He's doing a great job. He's laying it on. And of course, you don't want any sags or runs. You can tell a guy's had a spray gun in his hand before. And I've done this stuff, but when I got a guy that is a friend and will come by and do it, he's much better at spraying than I am. I'll take advantage of that. I put enough time in that piece. I don't want to ruin it with a poor paint job, so finish spraying it up. We'll let that flash off. We'll clean the gun and we'll start mixing up some clear. Then it'll really start to look like something. Nice job, it's looking good.
Thank you, yeah.
Now that Dan has sprayed it with the base coat, we're gonna clean the gun while that's flashing off so we can do clear. Let me show you how easy this thing is.
Yeah, so one of the first things you want to do with this gun is pull the trigger. That lets any fluid that's in the nozzle flow back into the cup.
Cool.
And we'll go ahead and pull that gun off of there and we'll just set that there for a moment. The spray vessel, the lid and liner with the integrated filter, this is all to be disposed of. And as you can see, there's only just a little tiny bit left.
You mixed that pretty close.
Yeah,
That's
not too bad.
Right.
So we can set that aside.
Yep.
Then that'll be disposed of.
Yep.
So
Always
basically,
dispose of that stuff properly for sure.
so all we have to clean is just this little bit, and because it's plastic, it cleans up really nice. So go ahead and fill that with thinner.
This is just lacquer thinner in a little spray bottle. You get these bottles anywhere.
Okay. So we'll just let that sit there and dwell for a moment, but you can see our spray cup doesn't need anything. It's perfectly clean and ready to go for the next job.
And we're going to use the same nozzle for clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you want some more? It's still coming out with a little bit of gray.
Yep, fill her up one more time.
There you go. That's pretty clear now.
Yep.
And that's all there is to cleaning the gun and you're ready to go. There you go, one gun, replaceable nozzle, the disposable. And like Dan said, this nozzle can be used 10 or 15 applications of paint. So that's pretty good, they're under $5.
So I will pop this off real quick, just make certain that the needle's clean.
Right.
And if I have to do any flushing around the air cap, because you can see that it's clear, you can clean that up really quick and easy.
Okay.
But in total, it's a fraction of the amount of paint that you would have to clean an old-fashioned metal body spray gun.
Sure.
That should pretty much do it.
And you can see there's the total amount of thinner we used. At the cost of thinner, you don't want to use a half a quart to clean a gun. This is a great way to go. All right, we're going to mix up some clear, go back inside and really make this thing shine. Dan's got a handle on this, no doubt he's done this before. You see he did the edges first and now he's coming across. Nice even strokes, steady movement with the gun. Get it on pretty wet, you can see it starting to really shine. Your clear coat is what's going to bring that base up and make it look good. If you get it too dry, you're going to get some real flat looking spots. Put too much pressure, you're going to get too much orange peel, which you can fix by color sanding and buffing. But the smoother you lay it down, the less finished work you got, the better your job's going to be. After he lays his first coat on, in this particular clear that we're using, in 10 minutes it should flash off enough to put the second coat. If he lays the second coat on that, it's going to look great. Then I'll have an idea what my truck's going to look like when it's all gray. All right, here's my core support and fender surround. Look at this thing. Second coat of clear, nice job.
Thank you.
It doesn't need anything. The paint's flowing out good, the clear's flowing out. Now, sometimes people aren't as lucky. What we have here is a little 67 Chevy C10. It's had an amateur restoration. Paint's not bad, but this can really be improved.
It can definitely be improved, yes.
All right, so you got to have a system, and we're going to use the 3M system. So what's our first step?
Our first step is really to kind of just flatten out all the existing orange peel and dirt nibs. And we're going to start with 2000 grit on a DA.
Okay, let's go to town on that.
Sure.
When you're using a DA sander, watch out for your peaks and in the valleys. And of course, we put a little masking tape up here, so when we get to using compound and stuff, we're protected. How you doing?
Good.
All right.
I want to show you a couple things. So, because this is a very cured paint, it's not fresh. It sands a little bit different than something that's fresh, but also you can see quite a bit of dirt and trash in it.
Right.
So you really have to do quite a bit of sanding. This is a nice little tool that 3M has. It's part of our perfected hand denib kit. And basically I have 1,000 on one side and 2,000 on the other. So I can address some of those larger dirt nibs.
Oh yeah.
This is a nice time to do that, just to flatten those out. Now because I'm sanding dry, both with the DA and with the block, I can see what I'm doing at all times.
That's great.
Versus wet or dry, where you're lost in the water and you can't really see what's going on. So I'm just gonna knock a couple of those down and even it back out, and then we'll be ready for our next step, which is 3,000.
All right, go for it.
All right.
All right, it's coming out pretty good. You know, that's a step a lot of people omit. Between each step, you need to wash it down and clean it, right?
Yep, absolutely. You don't want to drive that dirt from the previous step back into the next step, because we're always trying to refine it and make it shinier. So
Exactly. And he's done a great job getting some of the nibs up, but some of these things are solvent pops or fish eyes.
Yeah.
They're in the paint, you're not going to get them out.
Nope.
The next step is we're going to use 3,000 grit.
3,000 grit Trizact. We use it with a little bit of water, damp, and we just go to town.
3,000 grit, pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, so I just wiped that off to show you the difference between the 2,000 grit and 3,000 grit. The shine difference, basically all that we're doing is reducing our compounding time.
Okay, this is all part of the 3M Perfected EX system. Now this is rubbing compound, cap's white, number 1 right there. Got a white pad. Let's go to work and polish this up.
You bet.
Compound it. It already looks like different paint. Step number 2, black cap. This is the machine polish, black pad. This is like different paint. It's so much flatter, and you can see the difference. Now, if this was a dark color, step 3 is the ultra fine machine polish that would get rid of swirls and stuff. And of course, you would use it with the blue pad. Man, thanks for the job. This is great. Now we're gonna have to do the whole truck. We're gonna take a break. Stick around. A lot more coming here at Sam's Garage. Hi, welcome back. You know, I bought this 2015 Chevy Silverado, replaced my diesel, and I sure do miss the power. The first thing I did was I called our friends at Hypertech, told them what I wanted, and they sent me this Max Energy 2.0. This is a program. It does a great job. Now you're probably thinking, what's the big deal? Everybody's been doing programs for a long time. Well, there's a couple things that this thing will do that you may not think about. For example, if you go to larger tires and wheels, you jack your truck up, think about your tire pressure monitoring system. These trucks are very sophisticated. I can promise you. I get in this truck one day and it told me my cell phone battery was low as it was pairing up. So if you put bigger tires and wheels, you've got to set the tire pressure monitoring system's threshold higher. But anyway, you follow the instructions. One of the things you need to do is disarm some of the fuses. They give you a list. If you got OnStar, if you got trailer brakes, and I do have a trailer brake controller. But what I need to do is I've got to take out the trailer brake fuses. They're in the underhood electrical center. I haven't turned the key on. I haven't started the process. I got to get those fuses out. It says, please turn the key to the run position. I'll do that. And you make sure you got everything off. Radio, nothing plugged into your power outlets and so on. Hit OK. It tells you that the Max Energy is reading the VIN, reads the VIN code. What we're going to do is take the factory tune out, store it in here, and then it'll put what we want to put in for a tune. So max energy is working away. You don't change it, don't open any doors, don't put any lights on. All right, now I'm making a selection for engine tuning. You can do a rev limiter. You can limit the top speed. You can set this thing to go 50 miles an hour. Great if you got somebody driving the truck and you don't want them to be going real fast. You can select the tire size and change that, even enter the gear ratio. So I'm going to select engine tuning. Now, as you go through and set up all what you're going to put in for tuning, it gives you the opportunity to review changes. You can push this button to change or this button to accept. So my tire size is good. I haven't done a lot of changes. I'm going to keep everything pretty much stock except for the engine tune, and I'm going to program it for obviously power and economy, but to use premium fuel. Hit accept. Do you want to save these tuning options as a preset? And I'm going to say yes. And then use the arrows to enter my name. Okay. I'm just going to get myself a number. Done. Now it's reading diagnostic trouble codes. You don't want to have any trouble codes in it. You want to clear those before you do any programming. Your diagnostic trouble codes, this can read them, you can clear them, and it tells me that there aren't any in this truck, thank God. Do not disturb the programmer or turn the key. It's reading the vehicle now. And those kinds of things are normal. It flashes some things, some bells and whistles will come on. Again, don't open the doors. You just don't want to interrupt the tune because it could lock up on you. Then it tells you the progress. We'll just sit here and watch what happens. Okay, so what it did, if you watch this thing, it was taking the program out, then it was writing to the vehicle. Now that it's complete, it tells you the progress the whole way. Now it says, please turn the key off, then press OK to continue. So we turn the ignition switch off, hit OK. It tells you, please wait 30 seconds. So, and then it counts down. You know, again, one of the neat things about this particular program from Hypertech is that it's safe for towing. They maximize engine efficiency. You don't have to worry about going in with tow mode or detuning. You throw a trailer, as long as you're within the parameters of the vehicle specific, then it's going to work fine, and I like that. Turn the key off, press OK. This is really simple stuff. It tells you we're successful. First time in a row for me. Unsuccessful, unplug it. That's all there is to it. We're ready to go. So when it comes time for a tuner, Hypertech, this is a great way to go. It does a lot for your truck, add some power and economy. We're going to take a break. Stick around, got a lot more coming.
Sam's Garage, presented by ARP, is brought to you by Advertising Edge, the official uniform of the NHRA. By H.E.M. Saw, the saw that cuts straight. By Hedman Performance Group, Hedman Headers, Transdap, and Hamburgers Performance, quality automotive products since 1954. By ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
Having some fun with our 5-liter Ford project, we've come a long way. Got the cylinder heads on, the pan, the front covers on. You know, last time we worked on it, we degreed in the cam. You have to degree your cam in first before you check your piston or valve clearance. And we did that with clay. We'll talk about that in a minute, but now we're doing rocker arms. This thing uses pedestal style rocker arms, and here's how they work. They don't use studs and guide plates, they're on a pedestal. And a bolt goes through. These are the stock heads, so it's a 5/16 bolt, but these are full roller rocker arms with a roller fulcrum, roller tip, and they use these little channels that sit right here, and they're held on by the rocker arm bolts. Those channels position that, and that's what keeps the rocker arms aligned. So these are tough to find, but you got to have those. Now, these are not adjustable, so you have to look at where your rocker arm is contacting the end of your valve stem. These are 1.6 ratio rocker arms. Think about that. That's what Ford uses stock. Most cars use 1.5. This cam, the intake lift is 333 at the lobe. Okay, so you got 333 lift. If you take a 1.6 rocker arm, let's do a little math here. 333 times 1.6, that's 532. So if you go to a 1.7, you get even more lift. We got to remember, with more lift, puts the valve down closer to the piston, so you want to check your piston and valve clearance. As you can see, I've got these little test springs on here, come in your degree kit, because I got the hydraulic roller lifters in. So what I did was I coated this valve stem, the top surface here on the #1 intake, with a dry erase marker. Now I'm going to run this through and let the valve cycle. And I'm looking at this tip and I'm not real pleased where it's ending up. Let's do it a couple times so we'll get a good pattern. All right, we get the engine back. Now, let's take that rocker arm off and see what we see. If you're not pushing square on the end of the rocker arm, on the end of the valve stem, I mean, you'll ruin your guide. Actually, look at that. That's pretty close. I'd like to have it out just a little bit more, but I could live with that. Now, how you would change that is you would change the length of your push rod. Now, when you measure your push rods, we've got these brand new Comp high energy push rods. These are the stock length. They're going to work fine on this. If you needed to find the right length, you get an adjustable push rod like this. You put it in there and you adjust the push rod to the right length, get your pattern great, your rocker arm is right where it needs to be. Then you take a pair of like 8-inch dial verniers. These are digital. Measure it. Comp or any of the good chem push rod makers can make you a set of push rods to length. That's the way you do it. And of course, I've used the hydraulic lifters, but again, I got the test springs. You'd never do that with the standard springs. That would compress your lifter unless you had a solid lifter. That's the thing to know. Make sure you get your rocker arm ratio right, get your rocker arm contact on the end of your stem right. That'll tell you your push rod length is right. You fire it up and your lifter's pump. Gonna have a quiet valve train. All right, next week, we're gonna continue on with this. I'll see you next week at Sam's Garage.